You put in the work and you achieved the goal, but it's no longer fulfilling.
So at that point, you think you are intrinsically motivated, and yet you have no idea that you're not.
When did you start to realize you were following a script and not writing one?
Everything starts to just turn into a grind. I just remember it like yesterday, sitting in the car at the office, about ready to go, just wage into it again, and then feeling like I don't have it, and feeling almost paralyzed. You are going to feel the pain of not living a life authentic to who you are.
Sometimes growth doesn't mean climbing higher on the mountain. Sometimes growth means actually stopping, climbing down, and going in search of the mountain that you really need to be on. Thanks for joining us in the arena. My name is Shaun Dyke, managing partner with DoorTwo. Starting thought for today. We talk about the arena as this space where you do the hard work. You're not a spectator in the stands. You get in and you grind it out. You put in the blood, sweat, and tears to achieve those lofty life goals that we might have. But have you ever found yourself in a spot where you put in the work and you achieved the goal, but it's no longer fulfilling? The task or the accomplishment or the hope that you had, that you wanted to fulfill, you were successful in doing so. And now you've found yourself in that space where attaining that success really doesn't have you fulfilled at the level you want to be fulfilled. That's what we're going to grapple with today. And joining us today is my colleague, Bo Burek. Bo is a partner here in the firm with us and incredibly excited to have you here today, man.
So good to be here.
It's nice. It's been a minute. We haven't got to hang out in the flesh in a while.
Not enough.
It's
almost like you're busy.
Yeah, there's some truth to that, isn't it? But it's the same time, we prioritize it and make more of it. Start with who Bo is today. Where's Bo? Where would we find Bo today, and who are you?
Well, it sounds a little trite, but it's like I'm someone who wakes up every day and just lots of gratitude.
Nice.
With where I'm at. Doesn't mean anything's easy, but I'm very excited every day to get to do what I do. A little more granular about who I am.
Yeah.
So part of the gratitude, my family. So married to my wife, Monica. We call her MJ. 28 years.
28 years?
20.
Wow, you got married when you were 12.
Yeah. Nice. Nice. That would be a crime in some
Sorry.
states.
Yeah.
No. Yes. So with 28 years, she's rock and foundation. She's the one who pushes me, keeps me honest.
Nice.
She's unbelievable. Also in gratitude, 3 kids, all chasing their dreams, switched on. Like, and as a parent, what more could you ever want than to have 3 kids out doing their thing? Empty nest, hard.
That's right.
But some good.
When did that happen?
A couple of years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, our youngest, he left at 17 for good reasons.
Yeah.
Good reasons. But and so that kind of fast forwarded some of our, like I love to say it, but like when the kids leave the house, you and your wife start dating again.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that after 28 or after 20 years of having kids in the house that you haven't changed and evolved. So anyway, that's been kind of a fun process.
Nice.
Again, part of the gratitude, having that special person like MJ in your life for so long, keeping you, supporting you in your journey, or me in my journey, which has been just so powerful.
Now you're with us. How long? I should know this, but how long with us now? What are we knocking on?
It's not quite 2.5. It's not quite 2 years.
Okay.
But there was a dating process before that, so.
So we've known each other for 3+ years.
Yeah, there was an option to buy at some point, and we're all together now.
Nice.
But
It wasn't a straight line to get here.
No.
By any means. And so I like the phrase you just used about your kids. You said they're switched on.
Yeah.
So were you switched on as a kid? Like, how were you as a kid?
So let's make a distinction: switched on intrinsically versus extrinsically, right?
Chase that.
So I was the youngest of 3 by a good stretch, so 7-8 years for my older brother and sister. In a charged household, so hard.
Okay.
Hard house, a lot of tension.
Okay.
And I saw a lot of disagreement, a lot of fighting, not physical fighting, but disagreement on how people were supposed to be running their lives, expectations, and kind of central to that, I would say, is my father, who recently passed, great man,
Yes.
but had clear standards and expectations. As the youngest, I was a born observer, right? I'm paying attention. I'm seeing what's going on. Seldom was I directly involved in any of the tension because I'm just the little guy,
Right.
And so I was able to watch what was going on inside that household, how my father and my brother would have, battles over hair length and education and music and all of these things, right? Or so anything like that would go on, any type of argument or disconnection. For me, as I'm watching that, I'm thinking, I just want none of that. I want none of that. And so I think it really played into the early decision I was, I want to make that guy happy.
Okay.
And that guy being my dad.
Yeah.
Like, I want him to be proud of me. I don't want there to be division. And so I think, that motivation was not emanating from me internally. It was wanting to have that external, I wanted him to be proud, that external validation.
Yeah.
So from a very early age, I think it puts me onto a path of figure out what he sees as success, the right things to do. And I want to say, it's like, he's just trying to educate me in what he sees as what's going to make me successful and happy.
When did you figure out what it was that you needed to do to make him proud?
It was never hard on my dad to let me know what I should be doing. So
He was open with it.
He was open. Yeah. I mean, we had lots of fun, but it was also very clear. Like, he spent the majority of his life, especially post-college, building huge public works all around this world. Freeways, bridges, dams, you name it, pipelines, right? Like things that move the planet forward. So he had a very high regard for what he contributed to the community and world at large.
Yeah.
And he's like, he couldn't imagine someone not wanting to do the same exact thing. So it was not hard for him to say, "Oh, you should be an engineer.
Yeah.
Follow in my footsteps. Like, look at the great things that are happening." And so, so I absolutely went along with that. I mean, it wasn't like he was trying to sell me a bad
Willingly.
vision.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I was like, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that. How do we get there? Well, you go to engineering school. And he also had a passion as a young person. He wanted to fly. And so he started marrying, my dedication to, I had a sense of service as a young person, flying, and then comes about the Air Force Academy.
Yeah.
And so with all of those things, it made a pretty clear direction, let's say long-term, that I was able to define, how I wanted to string things together.
Yeah. And just for those that may not know, getting into the Air Force Academy is not an easy task.
No, it's not. And so I did focus a lot on school. I got my Eagle Scout. I mean, that was kind of a non-negotiable, with my dad. And so in that was, service. And so I think it was easy to have a clear vision of what I wanted to do and where I wanted to go.
So can I ask so let's string together some of these accomplishments or chase them a minute. Like let's say being academically capable and being an Eagle Scout and all the steps along the way to get to that. That's a process in of itself. Getting accepted into the Air Force Academy. There's two kind of questions. Number one, did you internalize those ones? Did you feel those as prideful moments, or were they other-oriented self-worth? Meaning, if you did it and your dad said, "Nice job," is that what you inventoried as the win? Or do you even know?
I was certainly not conscious of it.
Sure.
For sure. I do know, because the goals were so discrete in terms of Eagle Scout or getting high marks in school or, even in sports, being recognized as an excellent player. I was recruited to play water polo at the academy. So excelling in those areas, like I didn't have to be told good job because I knew hitting those marks were completely in alignment with where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Everyone's looking at these accomplishments and saying, "No, these are all great. These are all great." So I was really excited about where I was going. There was no question if I was doing the right thing based upon the plan that I had kind of internalized.
Yeah. So we said switched on earlier. We said switched on self or switched on from the outside. So let's language that as intrinsic or extrinsic. Intrinsically switched on, that's me. Extrinsically switched on, that's someone else.
Yeah.
Did it ever move to intrinsically being switched on?
I would say yes, for sure. Because you become so committed to it, it feels intrinsic.
Yeah.
There's no question about that.
Right.
And you talked about the not knowing. So at that point, you think you are intrinsically motivated. And yet you have no idea that you're not.
Yeah, that's the tee up that I'm going to have us chasing a bit, because that's one of those really complex places for us to live in.
Yeah.
Is fundamentally you believe and perceive that I'm the master of my destiny. These are choices I have made because I want these things.
Who wouldn't want to be doing this?
Right. And I'm finding joy in it and it's serving me, which only exaggerates, and I'm jumping a little far, but it only exaggerates, I feel like, the bump when we realize, wait, am I living my life?
Right.
But it's not.
Or have I been lying to myself this whole time? Right. Yeah.
And that's a hell of a confrontation to have us up. We'll skip a couple steps, and we've found ourselves in Air Force Academy, from which you graduated.
Right.
And we always have the hard time with the fact that you were in the lesser of the branches. Air Force, I was a Navy guy.
I know.
And
I explained this one to you. Like, as soon as I learned to read, the Navy wouldn't take me. So that was not my fault. I didn't realize that was an issue.
And as I've always said, I was enlisted in your officer, so I have to default to respect to you. Otherwise, there's no way I'd extend it. So
I'd rather earn respect, but okay.
You did, and you have it, guaranteed. So let's talk about I'm going to call it the first life. So if we think about, we're watching your early career highlight reel. You're in it as an engineer, and you're doing the things. What's it look like?
So in high school, you're still kind of young. You're just trying to figure out, how am I going to get to the academy? How am I going to finish my Eagle Scout, which I literally did the day before I aged out of the program. So
nailed it.
Yes, no time wasted. But the reality is by the time I got to the academy, I was a little bit at that point on cruise control, in the sense, like, I'm working really hard, I'm executing the plan, but I'm not sure why at this point. But there's no reason to stop what I'm doing. And so...
And you're ground me an age at this point, no?
So, I guess it's like 20.
Okay.
Around 20, you start to have this sense of like, well, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be, but am I feeling a passion around this? And I think that's probably, being honest, like, I wasn't aware of it, but I was kind of lacking that passion at that point.
Yeah.
But only in the sense that it's not slowing me down from going straight ahead with the same plan.
So you're living that life for quite a while. We get married, children come into the picture,
right?
And you're in a space where you're building great things and doing great things in the eyes of your father. His view of you at that point?
Yeah, endless pride.
Okay.
Kind of a good story around that. So went to the academy. I spent better part of 5 years on active duty, not doing engineering, but doing Air Force disaster control stuff, right? And so not really engineering, but still serving my country, loving it. My dad was excited for all of that.
Yeah.
The first time that maybe the plan deviated a bit was my junior year when I was at the academy. And I made the decision that I'm not going to fly.
Your intention was to be a pilot.
I went there with the idea that I was going to fly.
Okay.
And my junior year, I had met Monica. That was the first time where I started really thinking outside of myself. So introduced Monica. It was pretty clear straight away that she was the one. Like, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my days with. And I started thinking, well, what does my life look like with her? All due respect to every military member that goes the full 20 plus in service of the country. That's an amazing thing that they do. I knew that wasn't my path.
Right.
Because it's hard for the military member, but then it's their family.
Family system. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult. Again,
Super
extreme
hard.
admiration for those that do it.
Absolutely. And so I was starting to I had a different lens at that point. And so I was thinking, well, what's my life going to look like in the military with Monica? And I was like, it's probably doesn't look great if I'm in it for flying 20 years, et cetera. So I made that first decision, like, I'm not going to fly. And there wasn't a lot, when I was telling my dad this, there wasn't a lot of frustration or anything like that, because I was going to be an engineer, So
Got it.
my plan B was still on,
Right.
on course.
You hadn't shifted to concert pianist.
Right.
Nothing against concert pianists. Right.
Exactly right.
Right.
That would be ugly.
It was still in the lane of what was perceived as
Yeah,
worthy and acceptable.
I mean, if nothing else, it's going to be closer to him,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Which takes me back to the original story was, at one point in my early career, I designed a bridge that his construction company built.
Wow.
And so the peak of that connectivity inside the industry was the plans that I had prepared and signed. He had that put under glass, and
That's cool.
and all that. So it was
incredible.
a really cool thing,
Yeah.
and it's like you feel like you really delivered.
Yeah.
And so that was a special point.
I'm thinking about that moment of that signed plan underneath the glass on both sides. Like that's one of the things that I think it's important. These weren't false, fabricated feeling states of pride. Those are real. Those are genuinely true things. It wasn't like you're in this space where you're like, I'm just faking this.
Yeah.
These are real. Is that fair?
Yeah, nothing was generated. It was all authentic. But then you start seeing the signs.
Yeah. So that's the question I was going to ask you, which is, when did you start to realize you were following a script and not writing one?
Two distinct recollections, and these were present thoughts. But the first sign was when I was in my engineering career. I was designing bridges. I was loving it. The CEO saw that I had leadership capabilities that were unique within my age group. And so we always talk about it in the firm, shoulding all over people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Don't should on people.
I got my first big should from the CEO, who was a fantastic man. And he said, you know what you should do? You should run transportation projects.
Right.
At that moment, I was like, I'm going to leave something that I genuinely love and take pride in terms of the technical development of designs for bridges and all that stuff, and move into a should direction.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember thinking, like, is that something I should be doing or not? But that was my first feeling around that, like where I felt like I was going in a direction that I didn't want to go.
Didn't want to go into. But you did.
I did.
Yeah.
The other thing I was very clear about is throughout my early career, and through all my career, there's always been opportunities to participate in training, being mentored, or training and mentoring others. I always had peak satisfaction and had, I'll say like almost fantasy, like, I wish I could do that all the time.
Yeah.
And then you'd leave the class or the course, and then you get right back to work and just get back to your default path, right? But those were the clear signs that something was not quite lining up at that point.
Did it start to hit a point for you where we've summited the mountain that we had planned on summiting?
Yeah.
We're doing all the cool things.
Yeah.
Starting to feel like I don't know that I want to be on this one.
Yeah.
Did it reach a point where it started to, and this will sound exaggerated, but or started to unravel? And if so, how'd that materialize in body and relationships? And
Yeah, 100%. I was just feeling much less satisfaction, like the things that would drive me. Like once you are achieving certain levels of success, like whether it's levels of promotion or recognition or even compensation, the things that used to give you satisfaction and joy on delivering on,
yeah,
just didn't feel as meaningful. And so you're not quite sure why that is. You're so committed to just continuing to plow forward. But more and more often, I was like, not having the same level of commitment and energy to climb the mountain.
yeah,
It was just getting harder and harder. And so everything starts to just turn into a grind. The only thing that I would respond with on that was it felt like I was self-doubt and I need to knuckle up and get over this hump.
yeah.
I need to figure out why this is
Nice
not
learned
working.
behavior, right? That's on me. Let me lock in, right? Yeah.
right.
Suck it up, figure
Suck
it
it
out.
up.
Yeah.
And also to a certain degree, start coping.
Coping can materialize in a lot of ways. You and I've talked a little bit about
Yeah.
it. One of the ways in which it most manifested for you was,
Drinking.
yeah,
Yeah. And that's how you suppress, right?
Yep.
Some people might say self-medicate, whatever, but it's a tricky one because social drinking and all that is
Social drinking.
It's a ton of fun,
Yeah,
you know, and from early age, it's always been a part of having a good time.
yeah, it's normalized.
Yeah. And genuinely, I mean, it brings people together.
Yeah.
And for me personally, maybe it was just me, but I thought it was funnier. I was having more fun. I mean, it was a part of the fun
You were probably
journey.
better looking, I'm sure, as well. Yeah.
Well, I know I was. So, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So, so that starts to show up more for you?
I continued to manage that,
Yep.
but then I became very self-aware
Yep.
that there was more to this than social. You know, I was using this as a way to mask something,
Yeah.
but I didn't know what. No idea what, until you finally realize, like, this is not contributing
Yeah.
to what I'm doing.
So we tend to say all growth starts with self-awareness.
Yeah.
What was the awakening?
So in reality, I always knew that I was using alcohol to kind of cope. And the real struggle behind that is you talk yourself out of ever doing anything about it. There's fear around losing that crutch. And there's a point at which, though, you finally recognize that there is going to be no change going forward if you don't remove that from the equation. And so it was at that point that I knew that was a step I had to take for me to start feeling better about how I was showing up, what I was doing. And
Alcohol in general, get it out.
just get it out.
It's a coping mechanism that I'm using to sedate the collective awareness
Yeah.
of my dissatisfaction.
And at the time,
Yeah.
the goal was only to just remove that. I didn't have subsequent steps and phases in mind.
Okay.
It was just like, this is just not contributing.
Yeah.
This is not additive
Yeah.
to my life. And so in doing that, that was fantastic. Absolutely blessed in that it was getting there is the hard work. But once you are committed to it, it's like, for me, that was really easy, just enlightening.
Yeah.
And it allowed me to now start to really dig into what's eating at me.
Sure.
What's behind my malaise? What's
Right.
behind my lack of drive at this point? Even though I didn't know I was on that journey yet.
Yeah.
Because I was continuing to just plow forward.
Yeah.
Until I couldn't.
Was it a gradual slow burn where the realization became clearer and clearer and clearer for you, like fog lifting? Or was there a moment where it was
So I had gotten into a place where I just felt like the suck was mine. And I just had to figure out how to be better to make myself happy. Like, it was
quiet desperation?
It was
just
100
dropping into that place where, oh, this is
100%.
my shit. I got to deal with it. I got to work through it.
Well,
Yep.
and it all goes back to my original values, like, take care of your business,
Yeah.
you know, pull your weight, like, don't ask for help, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, there were just things that you just stood up for yourself. And so I was continuing to plow forward.
So the truth that you finally said out loud that got you there?
I had my first panic attack, not panic attack, anxiety attack,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it. But it was just that, I remember it like yesterday, sitting in the car at the office, about ready to go, just wage into it again, and then feeling like I don't have it. And feeling, just almost paralyzed.
Yeah.
But not. And again, gratitude. Talking to my HR director at the time, and Annie just looked me in the eye and said, "You got to check out, and you got to figure out what's going on with you." And I'm like, "I can't do that. Like, I've got
a job to
all
do.
these things going on, and I've got meetings." And she's like, "You aren't listening. Like, this is something you need to really invest yourself into, and so you need to disappear and take advantage of that time to figure out what's going on with you."
So you're somebody out here listening, and you're conscious that maybe you're growing in this journey. Maybe you know it already, but you're in those spots where you're like, man, I feel that.
Yeah.
I feel that space. What was the courage? What was the decision points or the support that you had that allowed you to kind of now move from, this isn't it, I'm on the wrong mountain, I got to climb down.
Yeah. Or what's my next step?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to figure out, well, what are you trying to cure? So therapist, right?
Okay.
Jean was elemental to, unbelievable listener. She has this great way about her. And Jean was just like, I have a thought, she goes, and don't throw this out, but I have a book I'd love for you to read. It's called The Middle Passage. You might have.
Just to be clear on that one again so we can hear it. The Middle Passage.
The Middle Passage.
Yeah, real simple read that you recommended.
Yeah,
Bo.
it may be thin, but it's heavy. It's really adds depth to around the whole concept of like what's a midlife crisis, right? And which so many people experience. And succinctly, what it speaks to is that many people can go through their lives on a predetermined path, similar to what I've been describing, but inevitably at around midlife, you are going to feel the pain of not living a life authentic to who you are. You have a choice. You're either going to medicate it or ignore it or continue to suppress it for continued struggle and pain, I think, or you're going to figure out, what am I supposed to be doing if it's not this? And that's where the book, for me, again, another moment that seemed like yesterday, I read the word nurturer, and it just like jumped off the page, hit me right between the eyes. And I was like, it resonated with me. And the book then encourages me at that point to, hey, look back through your life and find all those peaks and high points where you felt switched on.
Yeah.
Right. And it was always when I was helping people.
Being
From the time I was a scout and teaching someone first aid or a knot, some kind of unlock for them, I just remember immense joy. When I was teaching or instructor for program management or project management, always seeing people get excited about the new skills and things that they're going to take back and elevate, helping young engineers, become better at what they do. All of those events is what made me feel so happy. And I'm like, well, how do I, now the question is, what's next?
What do I do now?
Like, I own this, okay, and it's what's next? And there's so much fear in that what next step.
Based on a variety of things, I would imagine.
Yeah, because for, at that point, over 20 years, I've been the absolute rock and foundation to my wife and this family, steady, never have to question dad. And for the first time in my life, I'm looking at my wife completely unsteady, not the foundation. And for her to see me in that state, it was terrifying.
It's incredibly vulnerable.
Because for her, she's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And just add on top of that, 2 kids in college and all kinds of things like that. And it's
Fear of disappointing father, all the people.
I think at that point, more fear of disappointing my family.
Yeah. So
at that point.
I think so often in situations like that, people say it's too hard, too scary.
Yeah.
What was it? How'd you stay in the hunt?
I had no choice, because at that point you're like, I know where I'm at and what I'm doing. It can no longer exist as it is.
Yeah.
It's like the pain of staying the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just too great.
Yeah.
And also Monica was really absolutely clear. Like, I'm going where you're going.
You had the support.
Yeah. I'm in your foxhole.
Nice.
know? And and at that point, I just felt now at this point, intrinsically, I had a duty
Yeah.
to figure this out.
It's an incredible statement in your foxhole. I have to imagine this inflection point you're in at life. MJ's support had to mean so much in helping you find the courage and the confidence to explore what's next.
Yeah, she gave me the freedom to think I can let you down for a moment, is the idea. That I could not be what I always thought I was just this rock solid, never stray. I could be vulnerable and weak.
Yeah.
And she made it okay for me to be there, but with a plan.
In hindsight, though, do you recognize that you were not weak? That was probably one of the strongest things you've done in life.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what kept me back.
Feeling like it was weak.
Yes.
That I was going to let you down.
100%.
And knowing that wasn't her lens.
Yeah.
That's a damn powerful lens. Have you told her that? I mean, she's going to hear it now, side note, so it's going to show up. But that's
babe.
incredible. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, genuinely amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're at that point. We at least, coping mechanisms been removed from our life. We have the support of MJ.
Yeah.
We recognize we've climbed the wrong mountain. Exploration phase.
Yeah. Yeah. 100% in that I have to figure out what's my mountain. And it's also in the context of what can I do? I've spent 50 plus years on the planet.
Formula One racer probably wasn't.
Yeah.
You're going to be, I mean.
I don't, okay. So, but yeah. I had to think like, what is a reasonable pivot that harnesses everything I've done in my life, right? Harnessing like the good, the bad. What are my strengths? And I didn't know what that was, but I had enough overlap with people that had mentored and trained. I had known of coaches. I was inspired to learn more about that. And I had an idea, like I've spent so much time in and around leadership, either as a leader or being trained or training. I thought, maybe that's a place that I can, at least I want to go there to figure out if that is feasible.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, I crossed paths with you.
That's right. That's right. I remember our breakfast not too far away from here.
Yeah. And it was real clear to me that it was like, hey, I'm not here asking for a job. I'm here for education.
Yeah.
Like I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with this. And we had that idea. And you said, hey, don't necessarily rule this out.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily, which for me was very exciting, but at the same time, still fearful. Like,
Of course.
is that something I can do? But what was very clear to me was that whatever I pivoted to, I wanted it to be something that I knew I would want to do till my last day.
Yeah.
Like the concept of retirement, I wanted that gone because I wanted the pivot to go to something that defined me. What's my purpose? What makes me feel good every single day?
Yeah.
I wanted to be very intentional about selecting that next step to be in alignment with that. And so
Sometimes we just don't recognize that you never could have climbed this mountain if you hadn't climbed the first one.
oh, absolutely.
Like if for some reason you'd be like, oh, I'm going to be in learning and development. I'm going to be an executive coach out of the gate. It may not have ever worked.
Yeah.
In order to be successful here.
I don't have a lot of regrets.
Nice place to be.
In the sense that, are there things I wish I maybe had done differently? Of course, I've treated people poorly. Like, there's no usefulness in that.
Right.
But all the things that have transpired in my life from as early as I can remember to today have all uniquely added up to me being exactly where I am this exact moment. Should I change any of that? Would I be here? I don't know. Is this exactly where I want to be? 100%. So I look at all of it as additive. It's just on me whether or not I'm harnessing it for good, right? As opposed to, I'm going to bury that. I don't want to talk about it. Like, no, bring it all forward, because if it brings peace, if it brings confidence in what you're doing, why would you ever shy away from that?
Yeah. I'm going to butcher the name probably, but you know it. I think we've talked about it. It's that a form of pottery, I believe it's called kintsugi.
Oh, yeah.
I know this.
I'm equally ignorant on how to say it.
But you know what I'm talking about, where the broken pieces are gilded with gold and or silver, precious metals,
right,
to illustrate that the cracks and the breakages along the way is what's created the entity, not this perfectly formed piece. That doesn't exist in any of us, really.
Yeah, right.
And the power in that space. Okay, so I'm driving in my car somewhere and I'm listening to this dialogue and I'm thinking, you know what? I feel that quiet disconnect, or maybe even that loud disconnect.
Yeah.
And from what I'm doing, maybe I'm paralyzed by fear. Maybe I don't have the support of an MJ. Maybe those aren't the spaces for me. What's the small move I make?
You have to listen to it. You have to listen to it. If not now, it will come ultimately and not incapacitate you, but you're going to struggle.
Yeah.
You're going to struggle.
Yeah.
So I just say lean into it. And the best thing you can do for yourself and everyone around you is to have alignment with who you are.
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
What's the Freud quote? Repressed emotions don't die. They're just buried alive.
Yeah.
Those things are going to come clawing back up.
Yeah.
Middle of the night.
You're not going to avoid it.
No.
Unless your choice is to ignore it, medicate it, and that takes you down a whole nother path.
Yeah, and that is not choosing extraordinary impact. That is not right. That's not. It's not the advocacy of which we would encourage.
Yeah, no.
There's an exercise that one of our colleagues, Susan, one time introduced to us, and when she initially introduced us to it, I was like, all right, I'll give that a try. And then I tried it, and I literally got a little paralytic. I couldn't do it. I've not finished it. I'm not going to ask you to do it in its entirety. I'm just going to have a component of it. The exercise she encouraged was write a letter to yourself as a 5-year-old. And I thought, sure, I'll try that. And I mean, like 3 sentences in, it broke me a bit.
Yeah.
Trying to know what you know now and share that with that person. So I'm going to give a shorter one. If you could whisper one sentence to your younger self, what would it be?
It's going to be okay, little man. Because I wouldn't give me instructions on what to avoid.
No, it wouldn't work.
Right? No. Yeah. And also it wouldn't get me where I am at.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just encouragement. I said it before, definitely listen to yourself. But I don't know if that's going to land with the 5-year-old.
Not yet. Look, man, I think one of the pieces of admiration I have for you is this idea of perseverance through those pieces. And I think what you illustrate in your journey that I hope people listening took away is that sometimes growth doesn't mean climbing higher on the mountain. Sometimes growth means actually stopping, climbing down, and going in search of the mountain that you really need to be on.
Yeah.
And that's not an easy journey, but I truthfully admire that in you. I respect it a ton, even though you're in the Air Force, not the Navy. I still respect that a ton.
The feeling's mutual.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for sharing it and going deep on all these pieces for us. And look forward to the next time we get to hang out.
Love it, Shaun. Thanks.
Peace.